Peace and love, peace and love. You're now rocking to the sounds of vibration. Your boy DONKILAM, and we're here with the Dream Keepers Radio Podcast. And I'm in the building with Child Support is Fraud. That's all together, correct?
Yes, sir.
Hey man, just tell us a little about who you are, where you're from, and what you do, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. So like, I've heard you've been brought up a lot
Okay.
in circles that I'm in, and then I went to your page. It said follow back. I was like, that meant a lot to me because your name's brought up everywhere. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, and now you just pop up all the time. Like I see you in the algorithm now. Like you're everywhere, man.
Man, likewise. I mean, for me, my name is Lonnell TJ Tillman. I'm from Compton, California. I am the author of How I Stopped Child Support Legally. I represented myself in a 2-year hearing, no legal background, and ultimately got my case dismissed for extrinsic fraud after 22 years.
So you got the government for fraud?
Yeah, it literally says on my dismissal, it literally says dismissed for extrinsic fraud.
That's lit. I've never done anything like that.
And that's the thing too. Like there's a lot of people, and not to be, it just the facts. It is what it is. There's a lot of people that got their case dismissed, but before me, I don't know a mother that ain't got their case where it literally says fraud.
Well, I just want you to know, in the community that I'm in, that's what they teach.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you can get out of this because of fraud or threat, duress, and coercion, TDC. But I've never seen it where they actually say, yeah, we committed fraud.
And that's the whole
money
part
right there.
To where, and it was actually in their venue. So just think about this. I'm sure you know, but child support hearings are not judicial, they're administrative. So in their own administrative hearing, they admitted that they committed fraud.
Wow. So like you told me, like you got to come down here with it. So do the people that you have to come down, do they understand the administrative hearings and the administrative part?
Some people do, but it's still a learning curve to where you have to, a lot of people don't, because a lot of people just assume that this is court. And when they hear me say the fake judge, and they be like, fake judge, what do you mean by that?
Wow.
And I'm like, well, because
you actually say these things.
I literally,
wow.
It's a fake judge.
I overstand, okay?
So when those is like a trigger word. So when people like fake judge, what do you mean by fake judge? And I say, then I got to break it down and say, well, look, family court dealing with custody, divorce, and domestic violence, that's in family court, that's in a judicial process. But when you move to child support, that's administrative because that is part of the executive branch. They taught us this in school. There's 3 branches of government.
Yeah, there is. Yes, I totally understand because understand means you stand under the jurisdiction. That's the type I study. But we look at everything as administrative because if there's not a victim, it's not a crime. You have the right to face your accuser.
Of course.
So it's all administrative. Everything is truly administrative when you understand business.
Okay.
Because a constitution is like bylaws for a business. And under 28 U.S.C. 2002, United States does mean corporate. It's a federal corporation.
It's a corporation.
With that being stated, a person is also a corporation owned by the United States Federal Corporation. So when I always went to child support, that's how I looked at things. And I made the children my name. My name's a business, and it would be doing business as my children's name. And I look at things like this because in other cultures I do tribes and help tribes and people like that. You have to pay the parents. So you don't pay taxes because you're private. You have to pay the parents. Because all court is a tax court. When you look at the 28 U.S.C. 2002, it tells you what court means. It says court is any court created by Congress other than the United States tax court. So if Congress didn't give permission for this court to exist, it's a tax issue. So I ask you, do you understand your charge? They're the court clerk.
So now we see it, and that's the thing, because like there's different, and we was talking off camera, like it's different level when you say what's your charge, because now for me, what I educate people on is like, okay, so what is the nature and cause of this action?
Wow.
Because now we asking the same question. What is the charge? Is it administrative? Is it judicial? Is it civil? Is it criminal? Like, what is the nature of this cause?
When you start to, if you don't have a social security number, like I'm sure you heard of Amish people. Can the courts put Amish people on child support?
I'm not sure.
Have you ever heard it? You have any Amish clients?
No.
Because they don't have a social security number. They're not in that system. The social security number is a public trust.
See, I just learned something.
Yeah, and the social security administration.
Of course.
Trust. You only get to pick your trustees. And you can only use this trust for benefits.
Wow.
So you have to give the social to get the TANF grant, the TANF block grant,
of course,
which is a grant.
It's
and that's what forces fathers to pay child support.
That's exactly what it is. And I tell people, just go look. Don't take my word for it. Just go look. Go to the website and go look at the Department of Health and Human Services.
Wow.
Look on their website and look what it says. It literally says, when you look at Title 4A of the 1935 Social Security Act, it literally says TANF. It's a block grant. So what I did in my hearing, they had this TV screen. So I put the definition. What is a grant? A grant is a gift. What's the definition of a gift? A gift is something that's giving without any counterbalancing payment. So if TANF is a gift, now you did this amendment in 1975, which is Title 4D of the 1935 Social Security Act, which is child support. How are you forcing parents to pay back money that was given as a grant for free?
You gave me chills, everybody. Like, I got chills. Hey, you're very enlightened, man. hey, wow. But so what I'm just wanting to tell you, so what just stuck me for a second is, like, do you think putting father on child support is healthy? Because you said Department of Health, bro.
No, it's not.
I'm like, wow, it's not healthy. Because I want you to know, so I look at because the divisional family courts, they divide. Family means bondage or servant anyways. People don't know that. It's your clan. So if you said it was your clan instead of family, you'd be under a different jurisdiction. It might sound crazy. And then the documents we use is the birth certificate. And then that Social Security number, that's how they're garnishing your wages for the fathers.
Facts.
So those are contracts. That's, it's FICA, a FICA tax.
And a lot of women, they jumped on my head about this because I said, had I known what I know today, I wouldn't have signed my children's birth certificates. I wouldn't even participate. I wouldn't have done it.
So I help people. Here's what I help people do. Because the sole of your foot, they stamp it on there. So that's your soul. Yeah, they stamp your soul. Anything that gets delivered is property. And we go by this name. That's why I say trademark. We do trademark it, but you can only control what you create. So the name was given to you. Then it was given to the state. But yeah, signature is a sign of nature. We always autograph things because we're the celebrity. You know what I mean? They need us. They need us to move forward.
So we are creators.
But yeah, if you go through with a baby land deed and move differently with the hospital, there's something called public practice and private practice. Attorneys have private practices, they have public practices. And when you're taking Medicaid, they public practicing on your ass. I'm not gonna get too deep on his podcast because we're focused on child support is fraud. And I want to know everybody, I do love y'all, I love everybody, but I'm tired of helping y'all with child support. Who called my phone? I found somebody for you. He's that guy. He's the one. He's like Neo in the Matrix when it comes to this shit. He's surgical with this shit, Jake.
And I caught that. That's gonna go over a lot of people's head, but I caught that. So for me, I take it back to the beginning, to the origin, and because I challenged their jurisdiction from the very beginning. So they said you made general appearances, and I said, well, you never even had jurisdiction over me in the first place.
I saw that word, general appearance. So I teach people to challenge jurisdiction to a special appearance.
Of course.
And that was the first time I seen. Listen, I've been studying law all my life, really, but deep since 17.
Okay.
Since I've been 17. So 20 years, man, I've been studying law. Before I started learning about the Constitution, I was just doing codes and statutes. But bro, I've never seen general appearance. I've seen it on your page.
Wow.
And I started looking at it and studying it. Because as a minister, because people don't know, the Bible's a fact in the courtroom. And then they make you cuss or swear upon it.
Oh. And here's a quote. I just want to tap in before I forget it. You said the Bible is part of the judicial system.
Yes.
But when you use anything pertaining to the Bible in this court system, they're going to tell you that it doesn't apply. But what did they do? They had you swear before God.
Because you swear means to curse. So they had you curse your own God, so they know who you're dealing with. And then the birth certificate is putting you at a slave status. It's still Roman law and canon law. Ecclesiastical, the judges get their power from canon law, all the way to the Pope. The Pope wears the white robe, they wear the black robes. That's called a mourning robe because you're dead. When you come in, they say, all rise. When you stand up, you just gave them power. You fall under their jurisdiction.
Because you're now making a general appearance because you recognize
There
our
you go.
authority.
There you go. There you go. So I want you to know, if you look up it's in Genesis, I believe, it's the story of Esau. He gave up his birthrights for food. That is what you do with food stamps. You're giving up your birthrights, and now you're putting the father on child support. Food stamps triggers this.
So here's what I was going to say as far as like with the beginning. It starts in a hospital. So just say, for instance, when when you have your child, after that quiet time, you get the hour, the bonding time, and everything's cool. And then here come that lady with that clipboard, and she's handing, no rush, take your time. She just handed you the acknowledgement of paternity, which is a dual contract with the state birth record agencies and child support services. It literally says that on the document, but we don't read it. We don't read it. It literally says, before signing this document, you may want to seek legal representation.
I don't get chills on podcasts so much. Are you spiritual? Or you believe in something greater than yourself, truly? Because this is God speaking, brother.
I do believe in God. Yes, I do.
Demographics is the graph of demons. That's what the state is invisible lines, brother. So you're fighting demons. He gets dominion over the earth. That's why they make you swear on the Bible. You're handing over all your birthrights, man. So that's what you're fighting for. You're fighting for people's birthrights, whether you realize it or not. I don't know if you realize that to this. I mean, my favorite saying is prosperity is your birthright. I teach people the truth, but you say, I will still cut your ass out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. So, but when in the hospital, when you sign that acknowledgement of paternity, 45 CFR 303.5 says that at a minimum, they must give you the full disclosures of entering into this contract. They must give you the legal consequences of establishing voluntary paternity.
Wow.
What are the legal consequences of establishing voluntary paternity? License suspensions, passport, income withholding, order bank levies, liens, incarceration, putting it on your credit report. But here's the thing.
That's it.
They outline it. It says they must give you notice orally, in person, by video or audio. They must do this at a minimum. I don't know if you ever had a child and you was in the hospital, you signed that acknowledgement of paternity in the hospital, or you took a DNA testing at a child support agency. Whenever paternity is established, someone had to literally say, before you sign this, you are agreeing to license, suspension, passport, income, all of these things.
That's where the fraud comes into play, right?
Exactly. So if you don't get those disclosures, paternity was never established, and they must establish paternity in order to move forward to open a child support case.
You're getting this. Listen, man. If y'all didn't understand what he said, I'm gonna need y'all to wind that back into his head, listen it out, and take notes, because this should be done with a private consultation. He's just giving you this information,
and that's just for your community.
I mean, yes, man. Common unity. They're here to divide. That's their job. They're doing their job. So you need to understand what your job is. Now, we did talk about they're called franchise words. As you know, they use Black Law's Dictionary and other legalese. So a parent is a parent who rents.
Okay.
Child or children, that's property of a corporation. You're either the mother or the father, that's your son or your daughter. They always say that's your child or your children. They always say that's the parent.
Wow.
These are franchise words. So, that's like getting out that pro se jurisdiction using sui juris. I learned when I started studying sui juris, I found it first in the 6th Amendment, but it's your right to contract, saying you have your right and sound mind. And because you said that's how you proceed, is through sui juris.
Yeah, and that's the thing, dog. Like you have to be able to, and that's my thing. It's like just educating our people, because there's many people that go through these processes and don't have a clue on how to get started, what to do. So for me, as I've took on the responsibility to educate our people, like, look, this is the process of, this is what they must do, this is how it gets started, and this is how I protected myself in this fake venue. What you do with that, that's on you. I'm making the information available. So once it's available, you can't say that the information is not present.
And that's powerful. He said he took on the responsibility.
I mean,
it's a huge responsibility. I don't like it. So it's like, no, for real, it is. So it's like, I did come in to, like, I was on the that Flavor Flav, Fight the Power.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go, fight the power.
Right.
And then didn't nobody, they'll think you're crazy. They'll think you're crazy. And then I learned how to just make it commercial, you know?
Yeah.
And get paid off it. But in the beginning, it was always to try to wake the people up. But you have to throw your little shade, throw your little twist,
of
and
course.
just keep yelling and screaming until people listen to you, take you seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Work for free so you can get referrals.
Of course.
You know? And it's he took on the responsibility to do that. And I'm telling you, this is no easy task. But it's a beautiful thing that you're doing it because you're a melanated brother. You're a melanated man. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy. Here's why I admire you. I've been incarcerated. I've been through a lot of shit. And it's when the melanated brother is quick to start beef or beef with someone who looks like him, but as soon as somebody puts a robe on or a different suit on,
your tail.
You scared. You won't stand up to him. But as soon as when you get the courage to stand up, it's gonna change the game. I'm not saying stand up to the police because that's a little bit different. But when you stand up to the judges, man, it's a different game. It's a game changer.
Or fake judges in child support hearing.
Well, they're all fake judges. So through my study and research, this is my knowledge belief. We're not licensed attorney or tax experts. We do this for educational and entertainment purposes only.
Facts.
So when they're supposed to have an oath of office on the record. Mm-hmm. So they do that through the surrogate through the surrogates because you're dead. They're administering your will and trust. There's never an oath of office on the criminal side, civil side. It's all through probate court. Probate.
Wow.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Because you know, if you have your estate established, it bypasses probate.
Yeah,
so that's why it's called probation. Ation means to bring action to. They're administering the trust. Everything is trust administration. They're trustees. They're public trustees, right? When you go to jail, you're a trustee.
Of course. It makes sense, and that's why once I seen your page and I started looking at the videos and I'm like, this brother, he's off top is just like, I get it. And I said, he's taking it from a different angle, but I get exactly. Right. It's just a higher level of education.
Yours is too, and I admire it. So just you knowing, because there's not very many people I can talk to that the TANF grant is fraud. You should not be proud. Listen, because I'm not saying, because I told you, I said, man, these people are getting on my nerves so much, expecting things for free or handouts, and I'm going to start helping the children's mother. I'm going to start helping the mothers. And IRS information, referring where they work, whatever. He's selling weed on the block.
He said he got it.
He got it. But it's dividing families, man.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And for a person to come in and say, okay, it's dividing families, and then there's always why are they doing that? What is the motive? My answer, I don't deal with opinions. I only deal with facts and evidence.
I like to hear it. I'll tell you my facts and evidence.
Okay, so my facts is I'm going to follow the money. Now, I'm going to go to 42 USC 658A. That's incentive payments to states.
Lit.
So the United States Treasury every year authorizes a certain amount of money to to states to find people guilty in child support hearings. So you're getting an incentive. What is an incentive? An incentive is a kickback.
Wow.
So I don't know if people know this. For the year of 2024, the United States Treasury authorized $713 million to states to find people guilty in child support hearings.
Wow.
So based on the child support they collect, the arrears they collect, the establishment of paternity, based on their performance for the year of 2024, they have $713 million that they can tap into.
Jesus
free
Christ,
money.
Bro, wow.
Free money.
So I do nationality versus color because color is fictitious in the courts. That's how they get rights over. So would you agree that you're chocolate on vanilla, right?
Okay.
So here's my facts, okay? I don't have no reason to stunt, lie, y'all see me, right? So I started studying law and it led me to Marcus Garvey.
Okay.
How there can be no more. J. Edgar Hoover was brought in to make sure there's not any black messiah ever in America. You can kill them and take them out. Like, it's crazy. White means purity, purity means God, God's supreme ruler of the land. People don't know that they're really white. You know, then the nationality. That gets deep. That's a whole nother topic, though. So I just always thought that the melanated race was the lost tribes, brother, over here. And it's the promised land. It's in the law.
It's already written.
Hey, it's in the law, man. I ain't trying, I'm not religious. I ain't trying to sway nobody's beliefs, put it on there. But man, that's what led me to law, because I studied with the Moors 1st. If you've heard of them.
Yeah, of course.
But so you agree that most of your clients are chocolate people?
Yes. And
so the law is set up against melanated men.
So most definitely.
Okay.
So let's take it a step further. I don't do a lot of ads on Instagram or Facebook. When I did my first ad, and then when you go through Instagram or Meta, it says, do you want to select your audience, or do you want Meta to select your audience based on your content? I said, nah, well, I'm gonna let y'all select it. So I ran the ad. The ad comes back. Now I'm looking at the data.
Wow.
And I want to see where they targeted at. Where was it at? Chicago, New Orleans, Brooklyn, LA, all urban areas.
All urban areas.
So Meta said, based on your content, we see your content works best for people in these areas. I said, wow.
You want to know another reason why I get spiritual? Because everybody that comes across me, and even my cameraman can attest that he's been rocking me for years, is I asked him, how did you follow me? And a lot of people say I was praying. So if you have your phone near you, I believe in all of that stuff. So you was praying, that you said some stuff, got me in the algorithm.
No, facts, man. It happens like that, man. And we ain't gonna get into it, but shortly after someone introduced me to you, or not introduced me to you, they brought you up to me. Shortly thereafter, I started seeing content popping up on my phone. They definitely listening to us.
Right. I see your stuff. I've been talking about you my whole event, by the way. The whole weekend I was talking about you. I'm like, about this podcast, about to meet him. Not everybody knows you though, but a lot of people do. And then I'm seeing you're blowing the fuck up too. Excuse my language. You're blowing up, man. You're getting the recognition that you deserve, to be honest with you, because people are not able to even, because I'm gonna tell you the reason why I already know, because this is how people said, we understand your message, Don, but you need to come down here with it. You got to come back. So many people think they're grown at 14 or 15. That's when they jumped off the porch. They think they're grown. Or when you go to jail, or when you first have sex, it keeps you from growth. A lot of people from growth. And that made all the sense in the world to me,
So for me, there's when I start doing my studying, because I was put in a situation to where I had to go in there and represent myself. I didn't have the finances to hire an attorney, which I'm thankful that I didn't, because I'm glad I didn't.
Facts.
It worked out for the best.
Yes.
But I, doing my research, as I'm searching certain codes, case law, I came across this one guy on YouTube named Rick W. And he's an ex-NYPD police officer.
Oh, wow.
And he educated, at his time at the department, he educated the police department on how to stay compliant with the law. But just so happened, he got put on child support.
Wow.
So now he told him a brand new asshole.
Wow.
So
he knew the law.
He knew the law because he taught the department the law.
Most police officers don't
know the law. So,
do
but
not
he did.
Know the law.
But here's the thing, and it goes back to what you were saying. The reason why I brought that up, because a lot of people that I consult or that follow me, they say, yeah, I'm tuned in with Rick, but I can't relate. It's like it's over my head.
Right.
When I seen you, like you articulated in a way to where I can understand it.
I'm from the urban area.
Come on, so it's like it resonated. It was like it just hit.
So my dad, I grew up fatherless and stuff. My dad wasn't on child support because he was able to sign up his rights. Now I learned about rights now. You sign up your rights when you're on food stamps, Section 8. A lot of people don't know that it's a certain energy. I'm very spiritual, so that's why
definitely
Section 8 homes, HUD homes, they don't have fathers. It's set up on that energy pattern. But my dad, I used to donate plasma. I had a rough time. My dad ain't never asked me to do that. He was like, quit doing that shit. Boy, he was drunk and shit. But he told me, I was like, he never asked me to do nothing, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to quit selling plasma. He said, that shit ain't good for our people. But I started working there. But that's when I started relating with our people, man. But St. Louis was horrible, man. I was in a halfway house, caught a federal charge, and it was just horrible. But everybody loved me. I could talk to everybody. And I was with the Moors, so they always tell me, Teach your people about nationality. Teach your people to know the Constitution and to never put the Bible down. Because a lot of people don't know, with law, the first irrevocable trust there is in their system is the 10 Commandments. That's law. That's their law.
Right.
That's why you never see Jewish people really go to jail. That's private law, none of the 10 Commandments. When you're under the birth certificate, now you're under the codes and statutes. And the Social Security number, that trust changes every state you go. Different jurisdiction, you're going to be taxed differently. So that's how it works with child support, you know?
Yeah. And so just to give people, just for the people that don't know, I know you have, your audience is a higher education audience, but just for the people that don't know, I just want to give you a brief education on the child support system. So child support started, so TANF, not even TANF, the Title 4A of the 1935 Social Security Act, it started in 1935 when it was around the Great Depression, and women really couldn't work in 1935. So if a man went to war and then they was going through the Great Depression, women could not support themselves.
So not to cut you short, so child support, it starts off the Social Security Act?
Yes.
Wow.
It starts, from the 1935 Social Security Act.
That makes all the sense in the world.
Title 4A it comes from it was written into law in the 1935 Social Security Act.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah.
It's all tied together. I know that.
Yeah,
but I never knew. I never went back to the root.
It was the 1935 Social Security Act, and it was Aid for Dependent Children, so it was ADC. And I believe it was like 1962 they did an amendment because it was only for the children.
And do you know what amendment means? It means to change, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
So the Constitution starts at Amendment 1, so people don't even know the Articles of Confederation or the Bill of Rights.
Yeah, and then so I believe it was 1962, they did a amendment to where they added on family, so it went from ADC to AFDC. And that's when, it's still the cash aid, the Medicaid, and the food stamps. But then as they start looking at where are we giving out all of this free money to? And then they start giving out to a lot of underprivileged areas. And they're like, this is not what we intended this for. So then they had to come up with another amendment to combat all of this free money that we giving out. And that's where Title 4D, AKA child support. Because Title 4D, child support is a marketing strategy for Title 4D. Because it is. And let me explain that. Because if I told you, yo, Don, man, you paid your Title 4D, and then you're like, Title 4D? What is Title 4D? But if I say, man, you ain't paid your child support, it hits different. It taps into those emotions. It's a trigger. Child support is the marketing strategy for Title 4D. Hey, Title 4D is the enforcement that they go after non-custodial parents.
You're just getting started, bro.
Yeah.
I see great things for you, man.
Man.
Like, man, you're in tune like a very enlightened. That's hard work and study, man. Anybody can get it, though, right? Anybody can get it. Yeah. But you put forth the study, man, you have clarity. Clarity makes diamonds, bro.
Man. I mean, this is my life. And when you was forced when you back yourself into a corner, you either gonna fold or you gonna come out swinging.
I learned because I'm trying to get a job. Well, I don't use the word try no more. What happens if you try to make a church on Sunday? But I was at that point, I'm in a halfway house. I'm looking for a place, but they're taking money out my check. I got paid a halfway house 30%, and now child support is garnishing my wages. So that's when I learned about independent contracting. So that's when I started learning why can't child support touch me now? Start learning how to make my name a business. Learn how to make checks go to my name as a business.
That's a bar right there. And I try, like
Jay-Z said it.
But here's the thing. When I educate people, again, I'm conscious enough to not tether the line of education and legal advice. What you just said was a bar. I made myself a business to why they can't touch me now.
Right.
And people always ask, and I'm like, well, why are they coming after me? I said, well, there's public, there's private.
Yes.
There's what is public? Public is, hey, here's my Social Security number here. I'm over here. Come see me.
I like that. So we were just talking about Section 8 HUD housing. What is that? That's public housing.
Come on.
Public assistance. Public defender.
Yeah.
All these deal with the government. The public sector of the economy is part of the economy that the government controls. The private sector is part of the economy that the government does not control.
We the people.
We the people. It's to the person.
Yeah.
In the courtroom, you're a person, a persona, person, one son. You're going to be saved through the father. There's a reason they leave the father off of birth certificates, because the state takes guardianship.
And that's why
It's trust law, guardianship.
They're establishing the parent-child relationship. But here's the thing: I don't need you to establish no parent-child relationship. So before, just say for instance, you signed acknowledgement on paternity on day 3. So you telling me on day 1 and day 2 that my child was in this hospital, that this child wasn't my child?
Right.
Come on now.
Yeah, I don't do anything with their logos or anything. A lot of people don't know that forms of identification in the system, because the people do use the birth certificate as identification, correct?
Yes.
I'm not 7 pounds 6 ounces no more.
Oh.
So why you identifying with this?
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
So, I mean, if it's not your signs or symbols, it doesn't belong to you. So you can use family Bibles. Have you heard of family Bibles?
Yes.
So family Bibles are a form of identification. Affidavits of live birth. You can create your own affidavits of birth. You can use patents of nativity. You can look these things up in baby land deeds.
And that's why I said in the beginning, I wouldn't have signed a birth certificate. I would have created my own.
Right, that's it. And all you have to do is contact the legal department or administration at any hospital. You can establish a relationship with a private trust, a private family trust. I don't care if it's $100 a month, donate to the hospital. They're going to put you on the donor board, and they're going to give you private practice instead of public practice for all the conspiracy theorists out there.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's public and private, and it's as much as information that I'm now privy to, I'm still a student of the game. So as I'm sitting here, I'm still learning.
Man, I got chills from you like 8 times.
I'm still learning, bro.
Hey, man, you're a powerful brother, man. I mean, I knew you knew your shit. I watch you, I see you, but I didn't know you know your shit like this, man. Like, I don't even know how, there's no words to explain how enlightened you are. You cannot get, so in the private world, we use private attorneys and we use trust attorneys. We don't use, because if you get a defense attorney, that makes you a defendant, because that's a status.
And you're waiving your rights. You're making a general appearance.
Even in the private, we can't get information like you have people, I call them downloads, people say, call them upgrades. But you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Like I've been in circles, bro. The last 10 years, I've been in some powerful circles and had not heard anybody speak like you're speaking right now. Like, we didn't agree to nothing. I feel like I have to drop you a donation after this podcast.
It's I mean, it's my life, bro. Like, this was like so this is the thing, and I don't like to go too deep into this aspect of it, because my thing is not to bash women, or especially not a black woman. But I was unfortunately put in a situation to where I found out about my child support case 7 years after it opened.
Wow.
Why? Because I was in the streets hustling, and when I got a job, I got contacted by HR on payday and was like, look, we just got an income withholding order to start garnishing your checks. I'm like, income withholding order? What is that? And they like, well, from child support. I contact child support, and they say, well, yeah, you it's a little bit too late for this, because according to California code, such and such and such, you had 6 months to respond. It's been 7 years. I'm like, wait, what do you mean it's been 7 years?
Because that was their administrative process.
Exactly. So it's like
a lot of them are on the phone too now.
Yeah. So it's like 7 years. So it's like, now I go to the family law facilitator who's supposed to self-help, but they tell me the same thing. It's like, man, sorry, it's been 7 years. Ain't nothing you can do.
Nothing you can do.
So for the next 13 years, I'm under the impression, under the miseducation, that there's nothing that I can do until
like that. So you was 13 years?
I was on child support. I was on child support for 22 years. 22
years.
But what I'm saying is,
wow.
20 years. For 20 years, I'm under the impression, well, 13 years, because I found out 7 years after it was open.
Okay,
So for the next 13 years, I'm aware of it.
20 years right there. Wow.
That's 20 years right there.
Wow.
But I'm paying, they start taking my license. I went to jail for driving on suspended license. The judge said, if you come back, you're doing 180 days.
Yeah, I went through all that.
I said, oh, no, I'm not finna do 180 days for no child support, so I gotta fix it. I enter into a contract with child support under duress to now pay them additional $50 so I can keep my license. But every year, my license still got suspended.
So in Missouri, I was able to modify. You can modify every 3 years. And I was in prison when I modified it. It went to $1 a month. My baby mama ain't talked to me since, but $1 a month. When I got out to get my license back, I paid $49 in arrears.
Man.
So that was a lick for me at that point in time.
So look, I contacted people. I said, yo, why is my license keep getting suspended?
Man.
And the lady said, and I'm talking to her, I said, man, I don't even know why I'm going through this anyway. It's fraud. And the lady said, fraud? What do you mean fraud? You got served. I said, wait, what? I got served? She said, yeah, you got served. I said, well, tell me what day did I get served? Because I've been with me every day of my life and I know I didn't get served. So she placed me on hold. She come back. I'm sorry, Mr. Tillman. We don't have your signature. I said, oh, it's on. She said, but that don't matter anyway because you volunteered the program. You volunteered into the program. I did what? She said, yeah, we got your signature. I said, well, tell me what day I signed. She come back. I'm sorry, Mr. Tillman. We don't have your signature. So from that point, she told me. Now mind you, for these 13 years, I'm under the impression or miseducation that there's nothing else that can be done. But she just opened the door. She said that I got served and that I volunteered into the program. So she just told me that child support was voluntary.
Like though, obviously.
I said, oh.
What made you focused on that though? Like you knew that there was light at the end of the tunnel or something. Like
it was that point. It was that point when I'm talking to child support services and the lady told me that I got served.
But if somebody else would hear that, they might have heard that conversation totally differently.
But she told me she had my signature.
Right, and you said she did.
And she said she did.
Said, man,
so then she
knew that's fraud.
And then when she came back and she said, no, we don't have your signature. I said,
child support is fraud.
Okay, that's one. And then she said, I volunteered into the program. People don't know that child support is voluntary.
Yes, it is.
It's a program. If you break down what child support services and programs.
So we talk the public sector and the private sector.
Come on,
the voluntary sector.
There it is.
Being voluntary into the public, and that's what happens. So, for a court case to even start, it has to be an affidavit. It has to be the person that it has to be the people that create the affidavit. The corporation can't create an affidavit. They create building statements.
Come on now.
They create statements, not affidavits. So only the live person or live people, like living soul, however you want to do it, whatever jurisdiction you want to be in. I don't like the word natural person, but they can only create an affidavit that proves you're alive.
Yeah. So I mean, from that point on, I just started doing more research to see what else are they supposed to do, and that's how I came to find out their policy, and then I started just educating myself, and I took them to court and represented myself, and like. I was nervous the very first hearing, but from that point, like everybody else, they was coming in and out. They in and out. People socking walls, cussing, getting escorted out by the sheriff. They in and out. My very first hearing, we was in there for at least 30 to 45 minutes. I said, oh, they responded different. So from that point on, man, I was first day of school ready every day. I'm ready to come back to court.
I've never been scared of, I mean, my first one I've been on child support. I'm not proud of it or anything. I'm not saying this is what you should do, but I've been on child support by 3 different people. I got rid of all of them, but two of my children's mother got together and they got it switched to Florida. That's the one I had sent you, but it was in Missouri first, and I got rid of it in Missouri. And then they found a bookkeeper's address in Florida, and they accepted mail on my behalf. You know, they said if you don't come to court, we're automatically
it's a default.
It's a default.
Yeah.
So but the way I fight it is, first of all, if the attorney on the case represents your children now, that's not your children anymore. It's the so-called. I don't even know what it is. They're not a prosecuting attorney because there's no crime that's been committed. You have the right to face your accuser, but it is always the opposite party who is giving the information.
So let me say, I'm glad you said that. Let me enlighten you a little bit. So child support in family court, now going back to the 1935 Social Security Act, when I said when the Great Depression, women couldn't work. So if a man left his woman in 1935, or he went to war in 1935, the woman could not support herself. So they said that if you left your woman in 1935, you have abandoned this woman in your family. You have abandoned her. We're still operating in 2024 from the 1935 Social Security Act. So
that's deep.
You said that there's no crime. So when you said the child support attorney represents your child, and for some people, it says your child versus you on the actual document.
Yeah,
you know why? Because what they're trying to tell you is that what are the damages? They said that your child is the injured party. You are the person that injured them. What are the damages? Your child is or will become dependent upon government assistance.
It's so the birth certificate makes your child. Here's what I tell people: first, she was just fine. They put you on the birth certificate, you get defined. So what they're doing is making you now have become property of the government. That's what happens with even with a marriage license. And if you look up something called unijoint, it's private law. Same way with car insurance. It's putting you under, if you're in the public, you need insurance. Every government official has a bond as well. But these are things we go after. Me personally, when I've helped people in these situations and done it for myself, when people ask for proof, I just show them my information.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like showing none of my clients anything.
Yeah.
But attorney means to turn over. People don't know that. They're not lawyers. A lawyer is a layman. They break down the law for you. Everybody's a layman. And then you can have the attorney, like power of attorney. So people ask me if I'm my attorney. In fact, I am. Because they don't operate off facts. A fact cannot enter a courtroom. It's always assumptions and presumptions. But I go after to make sure that they have a bar card. A bar or a license to practice law. No judge or attorney, this is why you said the fraud, has a license to practice law. They have bar cards, correct? And that's a membership to a fraternity.
And a part of that bar association, if you look at it, it says that their first duty is to the court, not to the client.
That's it. That's it. They're a spy for the court.
It literally says that. Your first duty is to the court.
We're going to have to redo them, man. I close it out.
Yeah.
They beeps. They beeps. Oh, we just keep going. All right, it's cool. We just keep going, man. But no, we just keep going. That's cool. That's cool. We just keep it right here. We just keep it right here. Keep going, man. We're gonna close it out though, man. But man, I appreciate you coming down, man. You know a lot. There's this we didn't cover. There's minute. What we even covered, man. You're man. I'm speechless. You gave me chills. I love it when I get to learn.
Likewise.
I get to learn on my you know, when we doing it, this is what we do, but you get to learn with other people in enlightened minds. But let everybody know how they follow you, how they can reach you. Yeah.
I mean, for me, everything is child support is fraud, whether it's Instagram.
All one word.
All one word, child support is fraud. Instagram, YouTube, childsupportisfraud.com. But take care of your kids, because this is not no get out of jail free card. I do not advocate for any parent to not take care of their children. I advocate for parents, for both fit parents to have joint physical custody over their children. I'm not challenging any parent's responsibility to not take care of their children. I'm challenging the child support system in itself to ensure that it's following its own procedures.
And everything is spot on. I like the way he moves. I've never seen, well, I'm not going to say never seen, but there's very few people out here that teach you that the government's operating on fraud, but you're not going to get the proof that the proof. They don't admit that they're wrong.
Bro, I'm going to show it to you when we get, it literally
They say they're honorable courts. That's what they say. They say they're honorable. And the government told me, I got a DNA test with one of my children, and I said, you've mistaken. And he said, we're the government, we don't make mistakes. That's what they told me. That's what they told me. They said, you're paying child support, buddy. I said, I'll be damned if I do.
Yeah, like when you look at my order after the hearing, it literally says that the case was dismissed for extrinsic fraud because child support, I proved that they didn't follow their own procedures.
So me personally, I just think it's wrong. Like, I know you chose that person, you know, to have an offspring with, so figure it out.
Yeah, it's a private family matter.
It's hard. It was, man, I had to struggle for a while before I learned independent contracting and being an entrepreneur and business owner. It was hard to get ahead because child support keeps hitting my checks. Luckily, I lived in the hood with some melanated women. They said, boy, you better find the hustle. So, you know, that's the only way I was able to get out that, you know, because I had a motivation. There was no turning back. But other people, you know, they just dwell on it and they let it eat them up, man. So out here in the corporate world, it is hard. Even in the celebrity world, somebody makes it and, you know, there's people paying millions of dollars in child support and it's not right.
No.
It's not right. Come up with a private agreement. The government can't interfere with a private contract.
I say it all the time, man. I say it all the time.
Article 1, Section 10.
There it is.
When you're using that, that's how you're able to use the case law as well, man. Oh, is this? You did have some case. Do you know some case law that people want to look up?
Oh yeah. So the number one case law regarding child support is is Supreme Court case law Blessing versus Freestone. Blessing versus Freestone says there was 5 women from Arizona who were receiving child government assistance. So they were receiving Title 4A, the TANF. They gave the fathers away. Now they're going after the fathers, but child support is keeping all of the money. So the 5 women, they like, yo, why are we only getting minimum amounts of money? And so they took child support to court. In that case, in order for child support to keep the money, they had to tell on themselves. And in that case law, they said child support was never intended to benefit the child nor the custodial parent.
Wow.
It was intended to benefit the state, because the whole purpose of Title 4D was to recoup the money from Title 4A, the TANF grant. That's the entire and they also said that there was no right to child support. I'm gonna say that again. There is no right to child support. So that is the most monumental case, and how I use that in my hearing. So when my case got dismissed, child support attorney said, well, now we have to deal with the money, because we took a lot of money from them, and the state didn't just get the money, she got some of the money too. Now, mind you, it's 22 years later. So they saying, well, it's not in the best interest of the child to make her pay back the money. Objection. Remember Blessing versus Freestone, when y'all tell them 5 women from Arizona, the child support was never intended to benefit the child nor the custodial parent.
I like you said objection.
Of course, you got to object, because like you said, they work under presumption.
You have to work. You have to object.
I was an oblivious objector in that hearing. Anything that I did not agree with, I objected to it. They said I made voluntary payments. Objection. No, payments were not made voluntary. They were made under duress. You suspended my license, put me in jail, incarcerated.
It's all hearsay anyways. If you don't have,
come on, bro.
And listen, I want you to know, I objected to some stuff, and I didn't know everything I was doing at first. But you can make some shit up, bro. I'd just be like under 12 USC 411. You know what I mean?
Now they gotta go look it up.
Yeah, they gotta go look it up, man. Yeah. I like that. So another case law that I used in my paperwork is called Trinity versus Pagliaro.
Okay.
And what that is it proves that talks about the 14th Amendment citizen, but the government can't use anything against you, or the opposing party can't use anything against you. The attorney is either a witness or an attorney. Mm-hmm. How can you put evidence, because this attorney's putting evidence against you? Either you are an attorney or you're a witness. You can't be both.
Oh, wow. That's a bar. That's a bar. That's a bar.
Trinity versus Pagliaro.
There's another one, Burham versus Superior Court, another Supreme Court case law. In that case law, it stated that these administrative officers, they are not judicial officers. That's why I call them fake judges.
They're administrators.
It literally says that in order for this to be enforced, it has to be signed by an actual judge. And I proved that these
Article 3 judges.
They're not Article 3
at all. You make them do your administrator.
Yeah.
And another thing when it comes to that is that's why I say I'm a minister. You're adding a minister, administer. You got the prime minister in Russia, right? The Pope run the ecclesiastical law. So everything is spiritual. When you trace the money, when it goes back, when you deposit into a court, it goes back to a 508c1 trust, which is a faith-based organization in Puerto Rico under the Judges Association. It gets deep. They all get payouts on the back end, and they pay no taxes. Because it's trust law. You're the one administering the trust, and anytime there's a court case, that's a taxable event. And since you don't have bond or surety bonds, or you're bonded as the public official, because now you're put in the public. It's a government contract. Your name is a business. When you say I understand my charge, you just create a government contract. Now you understand that these agencies are federal. So under the Rooker-Feldman doctrine, state agencies cannot use federal information to enforce crimes in court and things like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I study too, man.
Wow. He said I study.
Hey, I study too. If there's no victim, it's not a crime.
Man, and that's the thing. And so and they don't tell you this, but they're trying to, and like you said, if there's no victim, there's no crime. There has to be an injured party.
Right, that's fact.
There has to be an injured party.
That's fact.
And there's case law on that, but when you're looking at your child, they're saying that you abandoned your child and that you injured your child. So the thing is, like, I've never abandoned my child.
And another word you used was custody.
Yes.
Custodial. You can only have custody over property. So this is why you understand it's a fight for intellectual property. And then that's why I trademark your name, I trademark your signature, I trademark the thumbprint. If you got the footprint, trademark that too. Anytime they're putting it on a piece of paper or something, they're using the the United States Postal System to contract with you, and they're printing your name in publications. That's public publications. And if you have a trademark or copywritten, you can get rid of that. If it's not sent certified mail, you need to know who's sending you this information.
Wow.
You have the right to face your accuser.
Of course you do.
Once they sign your contracts in the mail, you can. If you got your own adhesion contracts, now they're bound by your agreements because they signed for it.
That's a bar.
Yeah, that's how I move. That's how I work.
It's different.
I'm out with that, man. We good, man.
I salute you, man.
I salute you as well,
I appreciate you for bringing me on your platform, introducing me to your community. Nothing but,
Yeah, get ready for the floodgates to open. You can have them all.
He said it's a headache.
It's a headache for me, man. And I want y'all to know, like, because I'm getting celebrities doing it now too. And I mean, it sounds crazy, but man, if they're willing to pay what I weigh, I'm gonna do it. But I'm getting away from this because I'm making movies.
Yeah.
I'm in the music industry, and you heard all my plans with the healthcare. I'm gonna be working with prisons and stuff. So with rehabilitation, that's what we need. I'm getting people trained up with the right things. I'm forcing them to buy my products, soaps, things like that, and even implement programs and even rehab. We need cures, not just keep making money off our people.
For sure.
So that's how I'm looking at things. I got the black dollar, so I might as well do something with it that's productive.
Black dollars matter.
Yeah, black dollars do matter. They made me relevant today. That's how I can live this life. I love my black people. But that's an adjective, not a noun. So it gets rid of your nationality when you claim that you're black. But that's another deep. I'm out, man. Much peace and love.
Peace.